I'd like to go over the octave shapes that we'll be using. I'm going to start with the E shape. The octave shapes are based on open chords. So the E chord, the basic E chord, if you find the octaves in there, the E notes, so you have the open 6th string, you have the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and the open 1st string, so you get these 3 notes. Now if you follow those 3 notes up the neck, you would go from the open position, you'd use the 1st fret of the 6th string, the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and the 1st fret of the 1st string for your F notes. So that's moving up the E's 1 fret. And then you can continue up from there to your F sharps, your G's, your G sharps, and your A's, and so on up the neck. So those are the E octave, that's the E octave shape, based on an open E chord. The next octave shape we're going to look at is the D octave shape, based on an open D chord. So if you play a D chord and you played the open 4th string and the 2nd string, 3rd fret, those are your D notes. So again, if we move both of those up 1 fret, I'm going to substitute my 4th finger on the 2nd string, move it up 1 fret, bring the open D note, 4th string, up to the 1st fret. So now I'm on D sharp notes on the 1st fret of the 4th string and the 4th fret of the 2nd string. And again, I can move this up the neck like this, and these are all D shapes. So whether I'm on the E notes, or F notes, or F sharp notes, or G notes, it's all considered the D octave shape. So that's the 2nd octave shape, based on the open D chord. The next octave shape we're going to look at is the C octave shape, based on an open C chord. So these notes are, the C notes in the C chord are the 3rd fret of the 5th string and the 1st fret of the 2nd string. So those 2 notes are the octave shape for the C octave shape. And this is very easy to move up the neck because you just move it as it is in the C chord to C sharps or D's, D sharps, E's. So it becomes whatever note you're playing as far as what letter name the actual notes are that you're on. But the shape would still be considered the C octave shape no matter where you do it. Same thing with all of these. The next octave shape we're going to look at is the A octave shape, based on an open A chord. So the A notes in the open A chord are the 5th string open and the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And if we move this up 1 fret each, we'll be on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, that's the higher one, and the lower one, the open A on the 5th string, will go up to the 1st fret. So you got the 1st fret of the 5th string and the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. So that's the A octave shape. In this case, these notes are A sharp, still the A octave shape though. If I move up another fret, the notes are B, 2 B notes, but the octave shape is still the A octave shape. And again, so on, moving up to C, or C sharp notes, or D notes, all the way up the neck, similar. The final octave shape is the G octave shape. So if you make an open G chord, if you played the 3rd fret of the low string, that's your low G note, the 3rd fret of the 6th string rather, the open 3rd string, and the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Those are your 3 G notes within that G chord. And again, we can move this up the neck by changing the fingering a little bit to the 3rd finger on the low string and the 4th finger on the high string. So if I went up to the 4th fret of the 6th string, I could play that note as a G sharp note. The G sharp note would now be the 1st fret of the 3rd string and the 4th fret of the first string would be the higher note of the octave shape. So those three notes are, so again, those are G-shaped notes. G sharps are the actual notes, but they're the G octave shaped notes because they're all based on the same open G chord. So as we moved up the neck, those would be the G sharp notes. 1 fret higher, all those notes would be the A notes. Those would be the A sharp notes, the B notes. Again, they're all the G octave shape in this case. So the way I like to look at this is starting with the E octave shape. We're working a lot with the A minor pentatonic, so I'm going to explain it from A. So this would be the E octave shape for the A notes. So on the 5th fret, I'm using the 6th string, 5th fret, 4th string, 7th fret, and 1st string, 5th fret. So that's the E octave shape for your A notes at the 5th fret. Now the way I think about it, the way I like to explain it, is if you put your first finger at the highest fretted note, which is the 7th fret of the 4th string, so we're picking up that A there, we're going to go into the D octave shape next. We're playing all A notes, so 7th fret of the 4th string, and then if you played with your 4th finger, the 10th fret of the 2nd string, that's your D shape of your A notes. Then again, using the same technique as I did before, where the highest fretted note, which in this case is the 10th fret on the 2nd string, if you put your first finger there, you can make your C shape next. Again, both these notes are A notes, but it's your C octave shape. Then again, using the same technique, the first finger to the highest fretted note, which was on the 5th string at the 12th fret, now you can make your A octave shape. So that's the 4th octave shape. Next, again, first finger to the highest fretted note, which is now at the 14th fret of the 3rd string. Then you can make your G octave shape. So that last one there is the 6th string at the 17th fret, 3rd string at the 14th fret, and 1st string at the 17th fret. And I like running through these just all the way up and down like this. Do the 1st octave shape, that's the E octave shape. The D octave shape here, that's the 2nd octave shape. The C octave shape there, that's the 3rd octave shape. The A octave shape, which is the 4th octave shape, and then the G octave shape, which is the 5th octave shape. And that would lead you back to the 1st octave shape again. The E octave shape would come after the G shape. And moving backwards, you have your G shape again here, your A octave shape here, that's the 4th, moving from the G, which is the 5th form, to the A, which is the 4th form, then moving to the C form, which is the 3rd octave shape form, moving down to the D form, which is the 2nd octave shape form, and back to the 1st octave shape form. So altogether, you have something like this. It's the 1st form, 2nd form, 3rd form, 4th form, 5th form, and you can end with the 1st form if you want to get up there again. So form 1, moving backwards, form 5, form 4, form 3, form 2, and form 1. And there is another form 5 down here, and then you'd move into the open A position for your form 4 for your A notes. So that's where I'm starting from, though, is the 5th fret, the E form. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of how to find your octave shapes. And you can transpose this to any key. For instance, if you were in the key of G, you want to do your G notes. Again, I'm in G, but this is the E octave shape that I'd start with. Then I go to, that's the 1st octave shape. Then I go to the 2nd octave shape, the D octave shape. Again, these are still G notes. Then I do the C octave shape of the G notes, the A octave shape of the G notes, and and then the G octave shape of the G notes. And again, if I wanted to finish with the first octave shape again, the E octave shape, I could go up to there like that. So G's would be like that. So good luck fooling around with that, and we're going to try to marry that up with the pentatonic scales next.